Now, some people do know this, but Claude has a desktop app. So if you go to Claude AI/downloads, you can get your desktop for both Mac OS and for Windows. Now, for this tutorial, I'm going to show you what Windows can do, um, but this is going to be pretty insane. I've experimented with this on a couple of different systems, and I have given Claude full access to my hard drive as well as other applications using the MCP protocol, and it is insanely powerful. So we're going to start by going ahead and installing Claude. All right, now I connect with Google. Okay, so once you're signed in, you can see right off the bat, it looks just like the Claude uh, chat screen. So you have your professional plan, you get the cool little fade to your toolbar as you hover over. You have access to your projects and everything else. Now, one of the things that we're going to do is we're going to, let me minimize this to be a little bit easier to see. Over here in the top, you have these little hamburger menu. We're going to click on this guy, and we are going to go down to File and then Settings. All right, we're going to go to Developer, and then we're going to go ahead and edit the config. So now what this is going to do is this is going to drop you to a section in your files system where it installed it, so to your app data folder, and then it's going to give you the Claude Desktop config JSON file. So now you need to open this with an editor. You can use Notepad. I happen to be using Cursor for everything because I'm fully invested in the AI infrastructure when it comes to software development. All right, and it's going to show you a empty file here. So what MCP is it is Anthropic's way of connecting you to other services. So we're going to do a search here. It's the Model Context Protocol. All right, so you want to go over to GitHub and do a search for Model Context Protocol, and then you should get this main page here. And then what this will do is it will list out a couple things like the SDKs if you want to build your own, as well as servers. So this is the thing that we're concerned about right now. So we're going to go to servers. All right, and then in the list is going to be all the things that they currently have connections for. And there's quite a lot in here, and this can become very, very, very powerful depending upon which ones you hook into. But for right now, all I'm going to use is the file system. All right, so it will give you some instructions on how to do it. You scroll all the way down here, and then you have a couple of options for running. So you have Docker, MPX, are kind of the main ones. Some of them run with Python. I'm going to use MPX. So MPX is a package manager that runs from Node.js. You have to make sure that you actually have Node.js running on your system. So what we're going to go ahead and do is let me open up a terminal. And then let's see here. Oops. Okay, I do have Node, which means I have npm. So I have version 10. I think 11's out right now. This will probably yell at me in a little bit, but that's fine. All right, so I already have the Node and npm installed. If you don't already have it, you can go over to nodejs.org and then install it from here for your appropriate platform. There are a billion videos on this. I'm not going to cover this for you, but you do need this as the prereq. All right, so back to this guy. So with this being the configuration, we're going to go ahead and hit this little thing up in the corner to copy it. Then we're going to drop into the configuration file, and we're going to go ahead and cut and paste. So now what this is going to do is this is going to give you a series of arguments, and essentially what this is saying is this is going to run npx -y, which means it installs without asking because it wants to do it in the background. It's going to install this server file system, And then what it's going to do is it's going to pick some locations that you need to install. Now you can see cursor's trying to autocomplete some stuff for me. It knows that I'm in Windows. I do not want to give it access to my desktop or random other places, but I do, however, want to give it access to a couple of places that are going to be pretty nifty. So, hey, there we go. All right, so I use Obsidian for my note taking. Yes, of course, because I am the author. So I use Obsidian, and Obsidian itself is just a series of folders and things that keep files. So you can, see text files and stuff like that, and there's a one-to-one mapping of these things on your hard drive. So if we go to what is my Volt, it is my name. So nope, not this one. There we go. Alright, and then I had ideas is where we just were. And then apps. And then there you go. So there's a markdown file for the Culinary AI, which is a project that I'm working on. But essentially, I want to give this thing full access to all of my Obsidian notes. So that's going to be the first place we go ahead and add in here. So we're going to clear this out, and we're going to give it the file path. Now, since you're in something called JSON, you can see all this little red squigglies that are happening. There are these things called escape characters. You have to put 2 slashes. So instead of 1 slash, you need 2. I can explain it later if you want. But essentially, you have to do what's called an escape, because it doesn't know that the slash is the text version of a slash. Because there might be a command that you're trying to run with a slash. Totally different story. We're not going to go off track. So I'm just going to hit tab. That's going to autocomplete it in cursor for me. And so now it has access to my Obsidian directory. And then we're also give it access. Now here's this cool nifty thing. I use WSL inside of my Windows environment, which is the Windows Subsystem Linux. So I have Ubuntu running on here. And Ubuntu works local to, do I have a code? I don't have a code folder. All right, so we'll just drop it into this. So Ubuntu works local to itself. So when I type in pwd, that's telling me what my path working directory is. So that tells me that I'm in home and then /ren. But if I type in Windows Explorer, because we have Explorer commands here, explorer.exe in my local folder, which is what the dot is for, and hit enter, this is going to pop up a terminal. And then you get your actual Windows WSL path up here in the top. So we're going to go ahead and copy that. And then we are going to add it in. And we're going to let, nope. We're not going to let it autocomplete because it's messing it up. But we do want our slashes. All right, so WSL localhost. And now this doesn't look like it would work, but believe it or not, it does. The same way your Windows environment loads it up here, just like a normal file system. So you can see here's that Culinary AI again that I was just talking about. And if we hop back over to Ubuntu, you can see that it's right here. That's the same folder. So this is where things are about to get super powerful. All right, so we're going to go ahead and save this config. We're going to leave it as is. Now we're going to close it. Now, you have to restart Claude in order to have those settings take place. Now, if you click the little X, that doesn't restart it. Claude likes to hide in your background and just always be available. So you're going to have to go into Task Manager. And then I leave Claude up for this because it's easier to find. But you bring up Claude. Oops. Sorry, can't read that. You bring up Claude here in the apps, hit Alt-E or right-click and say End Task, either of the two, and that will completely kill Claude. And now we can bring it back up. All right, now Claude's going to start up, and it's going to take it a second. Oh, server disconnected. Ah. Alright, so whoever was screaming through the window, or through the screen what I have to do, I just figured it out. And it's just me being dumb. So give me 1 second. There we go. So remember how I just said we have to escape everything? Well, this is escaped as 2 slashes, which means we need 2 more slashes. Back here, kill Claude. I will bring it back one more time. And there we go. Okay, cool. So now look, it has 11 MCP tools. Create directories, directory trees, edit files, get file intros, all types of cool file handling things. So, I'm going to close this down. Alright, so now we're going to come back here. And we're going to do this. Alright, so we're actually not going to do this. We're going to ask it to do it. Now, if we look, I don't have any directory called code, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to ask it what it can access. Then you say allow for this chat, or allow once. We're going to allow for the chat. And it's a security feature so you don't go off the rails. But it actually sees that it can access both my Obsidian and my other location. And it knows that it's an Ubuntu WSL, which is pretty cool. It can read and write, manipulate folders in that directory. So, in the WSL, can you please create a folder called code? Alright, we're going to say yes. And code directory has been successfully created inside your WSL. Really? Let's double check. And look, there it is. Alright, now things are going to get pretty cool. So if you've used Cursor in the past, you know the Cursor has agent mode and it can go ahead and start doing some things for you. So guess what? This can do the exact same thing without you having to worry about a coding interface. So now, inside the let's do something basic for the scope of this. Creating a Python project. This should be a simple math game with witty commentary. Okay. Inside the WSL code directory you just made, I would like for us to work on a project that can help build, well, we don't want to do automated workflows. We're going to change this. We're going to, that can work. Let's just say work on a project. Period. Let's start by creating a Python project. It should be a simple math game with witty commentary and should ask basic math questions and be sarcastic no matter what the answer is. Make a phrase library that can randomly display the wit. Okay, and I spelled witty wrong. It doesn't matter. It doesn't care. All right, so ready for this? We're going to create code without using code or anything else. Just directly right into the Claude interface. Yep, go ahead and allow to write the file. So it generates first in the AI and then it spits it out. See, there's the math game. All right, look at that. Wow, all that code. All right, created a README file, implemented math game, correct answers, incorrect answers. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and try it. Oops. All right, this one. Answer the question correctly or don't. I don't really care. Type Q to quit when you've had enough. This one might require your full attention or not. 30 //10. So I'm going to assume that's divided by 10. We're going to do 3. You got it right. I guess even a broken. That's pretty cool. 40 divided by 5. Let's screw it up and say 5. Incorrect. It's 8. Don't worry. Math is hard for some people. Oh, 50%. Look at that. It's giving me a score. Let's see if your brain can process this one. Sure, it's 1. Mediocrity at its finest. All right, so as you can see, that actually worked really well. I never even opened a code editor or anything. And that is part of the power of giving Claude access to your system. Now, if you really thought about this, one of the things that you could probably do is using this plus cursor, which also talks to Claude at the same time, and use both to come in at different angles, because one of them is going to have context for what's going on. The other one's going to basically be a kind of a on the fly kind of development, and it'll have a context window, but it won't be as good as the way code does it. But for small, simple things, this is pretty awesome. Let's make a landing page as a demo for an Alright, let's make a basic landing page. Uses a web demo. The AI startup automates processes and makes them into automated ones. Use a placeholder images and have clean, fresh design. So now this is going to go off and build a web page, and if you notice, it's made a different folder inside of my folder structure, which is really awesome. Now there's nothing inside of there yet. It's because it's still being created inside of Claude. Now, I didn't give it any other guidance, so it's coming up with all of this stuff on its own. Now, also keep in mind, this is very simplistic. So I'm definitely on the bandwagon that is not saying AI replaces developers. That frustrates me more than anything. But if you are a web dev that is using AI, well, then this will take you from a 2x dev to a 10x dev. And if you're a 10x dev like me, then you're already now at 100, which is pretty freaking crazy. I've cranked out apps that would take me normally 4 to 6 weeks to build and have done them weekends now because of using AI companionship well. Pop this guy open in Chrome. Holy crap. It even created testimonials. That's pretty funny. Nice. This is actually a really pretty web page. Yeah, it's not going to work. That's redonkulous. I love that. So anyway, yeah, that's pretty insane. So you can get the basic format of a web page and then refine this over time, turning it into an application and do other things with it, which is pretty powerful. You can do it relatively quick. So yeah, so have fun. Try not to delete your entire hard drive, and like and subscribe. See ya.